Hello there, coding enthusiasts. Welcome to our newest tutorial. Today, we are embarking on an exciting journey into the realm of programming. Whether you're a beginner just dipping your toes in, or an advanced coder looking to expand your repertoire, this tutorial is for you. We'll be exploring a new coding language, framework, or technique in a way that's digestible and engaging. Rest assured, every step will be clear and easy to follow. So buckle up as we dive into the fascinating world of coding. First things first, we need to set up our coding environment. Now think of it as setting up your kitchen before cooking a delicious meal. The coding environment is where all the magic happens. It's where we write, test, and debug our code. So what do we need? Well, we need a text editor. This is where we'll write our code. There are many options available, but some popular ones include Sublime Text, Atom, and Visual Studio Code. Choose one that suits your preference and install it. Next, we need a terminal. This is our command center where we'll run our code. If you're on Windows, you might want to install Git Bash. If you're on Mac, the terminal comes pre-installed. Lastly, we need to install the language-specific software or framework that we'll be using. This will vary depending on what you're learning. Once you've set up your environment, you're ready to start coding. Now that we're all set, it's time to explore the basics of our language, framework, or technique. Diving right in, let's start with the syntax. Syntax is essentially the set of rules that dictate how programs in a specific language are written and structured. Each language has its own unique syntax, like the way we humans have different languages. Some languages might use semicolons to end a statement, others might use new lines. Some might use curly braces to define a block of code, others might use indentation. Understanding the syntax is your first step to writing code that the computer can understand. Once we've got a grip on the syntax, we move on to the structure. Structure refers to how we organize our code. You see, writing code is not just about telling the computer what to do, it's about doing it in a way that's easy to understand and manage. Good code structure can be the difference between a headache and a breeze when it comes to maintaining and expanding your code. Now let's talk about some fundamental concepts. These are the building blocks of programming, the ideas that form the basis of everything we do. Things like variables, which hold values that we can use and manipulate. Functions, which let us group code into reusable chunks. And control structures, which let us decide when and how certain pieces of code will be executed. Each language, framework, or technique will have its own set of these fundamentals. But don't worry. Once you understand these concepts in one language, you'll find it much easier to pick them up in another. It's like learning how to drive a car. Once you know how to drive one, you can drive pretty much any car. With these basics under your belt, you're well on your way to mastering this language, framework, or technique. Let's put those basics into action. It's time to piece together everything we've learned and bring it to life in our very first program. Think of this as a puzzle where each piece is a concept we've covered. We'll start off by setting up our program structure using the syntax we've gone over. Notice how every line of code has its purpose, fitting neatly into the bigger picture. Next, we'll integrate the functions and variables we discussed. Observe how they interact, creating a dynamic and responsive program. Remember, it's all about making the computer do the work for you. Now let's add a touch of complexity by incorporating loops and conditional statements. See how they provide our program with decision-making abilities? It's like giving your program a mind of its own. And voila, you've just coded your first program. You've taken the basics and transformed them into a working piece of software. Congratulations, you've just coded your first program or feature in this new language, framework, or technique. That's it for this tutorial. You've done an excellent job. Today, we've traversed the fundamentals, set up our workspace, and applied some key concepts. Keep honing these skills, exploring new horizons, and unlocking the magic of this language, framework, or technique. Remember, practice is the key to mastery, and don't forget to join our coding community by hitting the subscribe button. Let's grow and learn together. Remember to subscribe to our channel for more tutorials like this. Happy coding!